All right, so we're starting right back at the beginning. So sit back, relax, and I recommend that you watch this webinar. Today, it's going to be Kits Basics 101. Julia, what are we covering today?
So in today's webinar, we're going to be going over managing your catalogs and galleries, syncing the content. Also, we're going to be showing you how to start a new project and building with items. Then we're going to look at renderings and quick sheets and also sharing. And lastly, we're going to be organizing your projects so you can keep everything nice and clean on your home screen. But before we start, make sure you are connected to a strong and stable Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi's or personal hotspotting won't really cut it when you're syncing catalogs. However, when you're sending emails to your clients through Kits Mobile, this will be okay. Also, make sure you set your iPad's sleep and lock function to never or delayed as long as possible during your syncing to ensure a complete sync. The features in Kits are in-app processes, so that means that you must remain in Kits while they're syncing. So Franklin will demonstrate the basics using using Kits Mobile based on an opportunity, which we kind of always try to incorporate in our webinars. So for today's opportunity, the client is renovating their office and we'll be adding a new executive to the floor. So we're going to need to create a private office with some guest seating. So let's begin the webinar.
All right, thank you. So let's go ahead and open up Kits. And for all our new users out there, welcome. We run this segment every Wednesday, so I hope you join us every week, and you can join a lot of the community that joins us every week. Okay, now this is what we call the project gallery screen. This is basically where you're going to be able to manage all the projects that you create and that are shared to you on your iPad. Now, before I get into this, what I first want to do is I want to get right into the catalog sync screen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tap on the sync link at the top right. And that gets us into the catalog subscription screen. So this is basically where you're going to be able to manage the content that's available to you. Now, what is this content that's available to you? Every license comes with basically access to a primary manufacturer. That could be a primary affiliation that you may have, like a Steelcase, Techion, etc., or as well as all the open market manufacturers that are available. Now, you'll see on the left-hand side all the manufacturers that are available to you. Now, my iPad obviously looks much different than all of yours out there, and that's because I have full administrative access to all our accounts. Basically, you'll see the list of all the manufacturers that are available to you. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the content that's available from those manufacturers. Now, right now, I'm currently selected on my planning typicals, and you can see here that I have all the different planning typicals based on the manufacturers that I'm authorized to sell that are also available for me to go through. Okay. Now, under each manufacturer typical here, you see, is what we call a status notification line. So basically, Kits will tell you whether or not a catalog is accessible or is ready to be downloaded or is ready to be updated by the status notification line. So as you can see here, if we look at Jamco typicals, you can see that it indicates that the download is available. And then if you go further down, you see into Kits building environments, you see a blank status notification line. That will indicate that you already have that particular typical or catalog if it was a manufacturer catalog. And if you tap on Kits building, or if I tap on Kits building environments, you can see here that it will prompt some details of basically its release date, release version, as well as the type of file that it is. Okay, you can tap on done to close that. If I were to tap on the Kit sample collection above, you can see it prompts no information, and that's because I've yet to download that particular catalog or gallery to my iPad. Now, we also have updates that are indicated, and you can see here for national, I have some updates available, and those are indicated in red. As Julia mentioned, all the features in Kits are done in-app only, so Kits will only notify you of any pending updates to your catalogs or content only when you're using Kits. Either if you go to the catalog subscription screen, and you see the update here indicated in red, indicating update available, or I'm just going to go back into the project gallery screen. It will also notify you by the notification bell that is at the top right corner in your navigational bar there. If I tap on that, you can see here that it indicates that there are updates to subscribed catalogs that are available for me to sync. Now, if there were also projects, it would also indicate that as well. and it'll give me either a number 1 or 2, indicating that there are multiple things for me to download. Okay. Now, once I'm ready to sync, all I have to do is tap Sync Now right here, and that will update my iPad. Okay, so you don't have to go into your catalog subscription screen. So just going back into the catalog subscription screen again, once you're ready to download your content, all you have to do is select the content which you want to sync to your iPad by tapping on the big radio button that's left of the actual catalog or gallery name. Once you tap on it, what this does is it adds it to an invisible sync link. So I can actually go through the list of all the manufacturers, and I can choose anybody or any catalog that I want. And what that does is, again, it adds it to an invisible sync link. However, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't download more than 3 at a time. And the reason why I say this is because not every manufacturer is equal. Some may have much more items or data that is involved in that sync than others. So download times vary. Okay. Now the download times, as Juliet mentioned, also greatly depend on your Wi-Fi environment. So you need to be connected to a strong and stable Wi-Fi when you're downloading any content that's available through your catalog subscription screen. That is anytime you gain access to our cloud to download the data down to your iPad. Okay. Once you're ready with the actual sync, all you have to do is tap on Sync Now, and what that begins to do is it begins to download that content down to your iPad. Now, what's the difference between the manufacturer catalogs and the planning typicals? Well, the manufacturer catalogs are provided to us by the manufacturer, and what they do is they update us on a recurring basis. That could be monthly, that could be yearly. Every manufacturer is different, and anytime there's any kind of conversion, you'll see that update available on your iPad for you to sync to the most recent conversion of the catalogs out there. Okay, so again, the catalogs are provided us to or from the manufacturer. All we do is we create a conversion, or basically we convert it to a smaller size so that we can actually have it available through our cloud. But we do nothing to fix the actual data. Okay, this is very important. Whenever you're working on kits and you're working with a manufacturer and you find that there are issues with graphics, issues with data, issues with content, then it's best to notify us, let us know exactly what you're experiencing, because what we can do is we can actually create this list and work with the manufacturer to making sure that they get the most updated available out to our clients. Okay, so it's very important that you contact kit support with your issue. Make sure that you include the model number and the actual issue of the particular model that you're working with. And what we'll do is our data processing team will review it and see whether or not it's something that we can fix on our side, or if it's even further than that, what we'll do is we'll connect with the manufacturer to making sure that they add it to their list of things to do for their catalogs. Okay. The planning typicals are created by our content creation team, and what we do is we try to create a synergy between what the resources are from the manufacturer to what's available to you in kits. So you may see some planning typicals that are available on your manufacturer's website, and what we do is we try to, again, create a reflection of those typicals so that you don't have to, take the time to actually build them. They're already pre-configured for you to use. Okay, these will help you quickly ideate with your client. May not be necessarily the item or the model or the layout that they'll choose, but is definitely a thought starter for you to begin the conversation to lead you to closing that sale. Okay, that's pretty much it for the catalog subscription screen. Anytime you want to cancel your sync, all you have to do is tap on cancel. Anytime you want to remove your content, all you have to do is tap on the big blue buttons, the big blue radio buttons on the left-hand side that are checkmarked. Make sure that you uncheck the ones that you've already updated or already synced to your iPad, and then tap on Sync Now, and just like syncing the catalogs to your iPad, that will remove the catalogs from your iPad. Okay? If you guys have any questions about this, you could always contact Kit Support. You could visit our Knowledge Center. We have some videos, some basic videos that show you a little bit more. Or what you can do is you can go to the online tutorial button here. This is that question mark that you see in all your kit screens. You can tap on that, and what that does is it brings you into the kit's video tutorials. And here you can see that it recognizes where I am in kits, so it brings up the sync video first, but you do have a slew of different videos below that you can choose from that you wish to review. Okay, just select the one that you want to review, and then when you see the big play button, make sure you tap on that, and also make sure that your audio is up because there is audio. All right, so that's pretty much it for the catalog subscription screen. So let's go ahead into the back into the project gallery screen. So in the project gallery screen here, you can see we have a navigation bar at the very top. And in the middle of the navigation bar is my project's quantity indicator. And here you can see that I currently have 679 projects saved on my iPad. These are projects that are saved either that I've created them or projects that have been shared to me by other users. Okay. To the right of that, we have the notification bell, which we already discussed. And then that online tutorial button, this question mark, which will get you to our online tutorial screen. We also have our sync link, which gets you to the catalog subscription screen. And on the left-hand side, we have your project delete, project copy, and then your project start button. Okay, we'll go into this a little bit later, as well as the project gallery screen. So let's go ahead and tap on the big plus sign to get into the scene builder. All right, so this is the scene builder. This is where I like to say the magic happens. Again, at the very top here, we have the navigation bar, and in the very middle of the navigation bar is your project name. Now, as a best practice, what I always suggest you do is tap on New Project. You can tap on the little X to delete that name, and it's always best to name your actual project that you're working on. And here, I'm just going to put Webinar Wednesday. And then I'm going to tap on Return to accept. Now, the project name has been accepted, but it hasn't been saved yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on Projects, the top left corner, and this is going to prompt for me to save, don't save, or cancel. Here I want to save the project. I'm going to tap on that. In case you have Salesforce, you can inquire about our Salesforce connectivity for you to add your project as an opportunity. But again, that's only if you want to do that. You can contact us and we can put you to the right people to discuss that. Okay. Once the project is saved, you can see here it's now added to my project gallery screen. You can see that my projects counter at the top has now changed to 680 from 679. And then I have my new project, which you can see there's nothing in the screen. All it is just a blank white page with the floor grid in the middle. But what Kits does is it creates the project name as well as the date timestamp of when that project was created. Okay. So to get back into the project, all you have to do is tap on the image, and that will get you back into the actual project. As you can see here, I'm now in the Webinar Wednesday project, as you can see at the very top. So again, in the navigation bar to the right-hand side are the hand gestures or the actual finger gestures that you'll have to get used to edit your scene in Kit. Right now, yours may be currently on. I'm going to turn it on by tapping on the hand icon so that you can see this movie ribbon. This movie ribbon is just a quick demonstration of all the different gestures that you'll have to get used to navigating the tool. Okay, I'm going to leave it on because we're going to go through each one. And then beside that, we have the question mark again, which is the online tutorial button. And then next to that is the project setting button in the cogwheel. So we're going to go ahead and tap on the project settings. And we're going to go through a little bit of this. So the very first group of settings are for your floor grid. Now the floor grid comes in at a size of 30 feet by 30 feet by default, and it is currently on as indicated by the blue controller switch that is switched on. So blue means on, white means off, okay? Now you can change the actual grid size by tapping in the grid length box and then indicating the size that you want to work with. Here, I'm going to say 15. Then I'm going to tap on return, and that's now going to accept my 20 by 15 foot increment. If I go back by tapping on back at the top left corner, you can see that my floor grid has now changed, indicating the new dimensions that I've just added. Now, one thing that's also good to know is each square on the floor grid equals 1 full square foot. So this is the only place that you'll be able to get any kind of dimensioning. So if you need to space plan your project based on the scope of the actual project, you can use this grid to create your layout and to provide placement of the items on your floor grid. Okay, let's go back into the project settings. Now the next group of features are your layout aids. Now here by default, Snap 2 is automatically turned on. Snap 2 will allow a little bit more efficiency in building your scene. What it does is it allows one item, this could be, let's say, a work surface, snapping to another particular item on your screen. So if you're creating some type of bench-type office table where you need multiple tables that are connected side by side, kits will automatically allow that to happen by snapping the corners together. Okay, so it's a feature that I would recommend keeping on until you can master building layouts in kits. Now the next feature is collision prevention. Sounds exactly what it does. It prevents any item from colliding or going through another item. Okay, so if you're familiar with kits or any kind of CAD program, you can literally slide another item through another one. Doesn't matter what it is, and it won't affect the actual item. However, if you have collision prevention that's turned on here in kits, it will prevent you from sliding another item through another one. Okay, so it can help you build your projects. I'll be honest, it's a feature that I rarely use, only because I'm much more efficient with Snap 2 on and off. Okay. The next set of settings are your list view settings, and this will allow you to display any GSA codes in case you're working on any government projects. All you have to do is make sure you tap on the control switch, and the GSA codes will appear in your line item list view. Okay. The next feature is also hiding items from the kit's office environment catalogs. Now, if you're not familiar with the KOE catalog, that is the catalog that we've created that allows you to humanize your scenes by adding equipment, architectural features, plants, people, and all that fun stuff to help decorate your layout. Okay. Now, again, what this does is it removes all those items from your list view, so you don't get bogged down with the items that are just merely there to enhance your renderings. Okay. And lastly, we have the customer relation management feature. That's the CRM. That is Salesforce actually, and basically this will allow you to connect to your opportunity. The only other thing that you need to know in the project settings is the About symbol at the very bottom. If you tap on that, in case you call kit support and you need some help and they ask you what version are you currently running, you can get that version number here through the About symbol, and that will tell you 2.3.33, which is I believe the most current kits build out there, with a new kits build that is soon to be coming. Okay, so stay tuned for that. All right, so we pretty much have gone through the project settings. Let's now go through the scene builder icons here. At the right-hand side, we have your camera settings and your view settings. So here you can see that by default, we are automatically in 3D view, but then you can also change your view to plan view, elevation view, as well as parts list view or line item list view. You can also lock and unlock your camera to prevent it from rotating or moving. And you can also reset your camera to the default position. Here you can see I'm zoomed in all the way. I'm going to tap on reset, and that will reset my floor grid back to the center and zoomed out. Okay. On the left-hand side are your layout aids, and these are the ones that are going to allow you to edit your scene and your items that you're going to drag into the actual scene here. The first one is the select button, and then we have the add item, remove, duplicate, group, and ungroup buttons. Okay, I'll go through every single one, as well as the gestures at the very top. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go into the add item menu by tapping on add item. And that will open up the add item menu, automatically opening up your catalog filter. And under the catalog filter, you can see all your subcategories, basically my planning typicals, as well as all the manufacturers that I've currently downloaded to my iPad. These may not represent all the manufacturers that are available to you, only the ones that you've already taken the time to sync down to your iPad. Okay? This will also give you access to your planning typicals. So you can go ahead and tap on planning typicals, And here you can see all the different planning typicals that I've currently synced to my iPad. At the very behind the actual submenu is the thumbnail gallery, which basically shows me all the content that I have under planning typicals. Now, if I tap on catalog filter one more time, and here we're going to go ahead and tap on planning typicals by Inkscape, you can see once I do that, automatically the thumbnail gallery behind now changes to indicate the current catalog that or planning typicals that I'm in. Again, if I tap on catalogs, and if I want to refine this a little bit, I'm going to go view by product, and I'm going to look at Inkscape walls. So I'm going to tap on that. You can see again the flash in the back. That's now refreshing to only indicate the items that are currently found in the submenu or the catalog or gallery that I'm currently that I currently tapped into. So here you can see that I'm now only showing those items, and if I tap on one of these images, you can see what it does is it goes into full screen presentation mode. And under full screen presentation mode, I can flick left and right to go through all the different projects. Here I can get a little bit of information. I have the typical name as well as the typical summary. And then I have the configured list price of the actual project as well as additional details. If I tap on details, you can see that it prompts open a new window, giving me a little bit more information about this particular model. Okay. Now, again, I know as a salesperson, you wanna limit your client from seeing too much information, especially pricing. So what we've also allowed you to do is tap on the image one more time, and what that gets you is into full screen preview mode, where it washes out any information like the details, so that you can actually use this as a way to present some of these typicals. And the idea here is that you use this to quickly ideate with your client so they can see something that they like, and they can say, you know what, that's sort of similar to what we're expecting. Let's work on that. So here we know that the scope of the project is for us adding a new office exec to the floor space, and so we need to create a nice private office. And since we have some Inkscape product already in, especially Inkscape walls, we're going to continue with that. So we're going to add this particular typical to our scene. Here I'm going to tap on it one more time, and then to add to my scene, all I'm going to do is tap on Add to Project, and that's going to allow me to add it to my scene. Okay. So here you can see again is the Add Item menu, and you can see those same product details that was available for us to look at. I have some information here. You can see that this is a total footprint of 12 feet by 16 feet, which takes up roughly about 192 square feet. Okay, sounds fitting for an exec. So let's go ahead and place our finger on the image in the Add Item menu and drag it to our scene. Okay. Now, as you can see here, what I'm trying to do is I want to make sure that it fits the actual floor grid, and I can go even to Plan View to make sure that it fits along the actual floor grid squares. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these gestures. So the first one is the camera rotate. This will allow you to rotate this invisible camera that's in the kit's universe that actually looks down into the floor grid here. This will allow me to move around the actual models that I bring in the space. So all I'm going to do is place two fingers just like the gesture, but I'm going to place on the left-hand side, and I'm going to swipe right, and I'm just going to continue left to right, and you can see me fully rotating the actual model in space. Okay. The next feature is camera pan, and just like in the gesture, I'm going to place one finger, and I'm going to pan left, right, up, and down. Again, these are all the different type of camera features that you're going to have to master so you can start editing your layouts. The next gesture is camera zoom. I'm going to pinch in and out, and you can see I can zoom completely into the actual space. Now, the next gesture is item move horizontal. So what I want to do here first is I want to first ungroup my items, and you can see that I have all these red boxes that are surrounding my actual layout. These red boxes indicate that this particular layout has already been grouped together, so that if I tap anywhere off of the item and I deselect all my items and tap, here I'm going to tap on the desk. Now everything highlights in red other than the desk. The desk is part of the grouping, but what it indicates is that that particular desk is the item that we're currently selected on in that grouping. So here now, if I place my finger on the desk, I can actually move it anywhere. So you can see that the item move horizontal will allow you to move your layouts or your items anywhere on screen. Now item move vertical will allow you to adjust how your furniture sits in the space. Sometimes you'll have to bring in items that that need to be elevated. This is the gesture to help you do so. To demonstrate this, what I'm going to first do is I want to ungroup this grouping here, and since it's completely selected, I'm going to go ahead and tap on ungroup at the bottom left corner, and that will now separate my groups. Okay, so now if I tap on any one particular item, it only selects those items, and a blue box now appears, indicating that that blue box indicates the current item that I'm selected on in Kits. Okay, so what I want to do here is just show you what the item move vertical looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 3 fingers just like in the gesture, and since I'm highlighted on my work surface, I'm going to place my 3 fingers to the right of it, and I'm going to drag up. And you can see what I'm actually doing is I'm lifting that furniture item up from the actual legs or supports that it was currently on. Okay. Now I can also drag it through, and you can see here what it's actually doing is it's just going right through all the other items, allowing me to place it anywhere I want. If I want to prevent that from happening, I can go into my project settings. I can turn on my collision prevention, which will stop me from actually moving any item into another. Now, as I'm moving closer to the supports for the tabletop, you can see at some point it will automatically snap to the top surface of the supports. And what that is basically the snap to function that is currently working in this space. All right, the next gesture is item rotates. What I like to do is go into plan view by tapping on plan view at the top right right of the scene builder, so that we can actually tap on an item that we wish to rotate. So here I tapped on the chair that's behind the desk, and I've placed my fingers just as in the gesture, my thumb and finger apart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my fingers one way and the iPad the opposite way. And what this will do is it'll allow me to rotate the item on my screen, as I'm doing there. Now, you may need some practice in doing this just to get familiar with the gesture. So what I suggest that you can do is lock your camera. So here now, I'm just going to turn off my movie ribbon for a sec. Here you can see that I can't pan my camera or move my camera. That lock is doing a little jig indicating that right now my camera is locked. So this way, I know I'm moving my item rather than trying to move the camera because, again, nothing's actually happening. Okay. Once you're done with that, make sure you tap on the lock button again to unlock that feature. All right. The next setting is drag select. This will help you do a multi-select over a particular area. Now, right now, since I've already ungrouped my items, as a best practice, whenever I'm building these layouts, what I like to do is make sure that I have different clusters of each particular layout that I have. So what I want to do is I want to create one grouping of the interior furniture and then another grouping of the exterior walls. Okay, so I'm going to do a drag select by tapping on the select button and holding. As you can see, it's now highlighting in dark gray. And I'm going to place my finger just like in the actual gesture here at the top left of the area I want to select. And I'm going to drag across until I can cover all the items that I want to select. So here you can see that I've also selected something that I don't want. So here I'm just going to go ahead and tap on it. Oh, let's do that one more time. There we go. And I'm just going to tap on that one particular item that I want to deselect. If I go into 3D view, you can see that what I have highlighted right now is basically the desks, the chairs, and it looks like I might have one of these walls as well. So let's make sure we deselect that. And all I want to do is make sure that I highlighted only the interior features. Now the drag select, again, what that allows you to do is create a marquee box that covers a general area, and anything caught under that marquee box will then be added to a selection. Okay. Now that I've selected everything, I'm going to group it by tapping on group. It will now highlight in red. Let's tap enter off screen and tap back on the chair. And you can see now I am only grouped on that particular group set. So now what I can do is I can just move it aside so that I can work on that as opposed to having to work through it in the office walls. Okay. Now the other thing I want to do is I also want to do a full selection of the walls as well to create another separate grouping for that. So I'm going to actually do that by doing a multi-select. And all you have to do in the multi-select, which is very similar to the drag select, but this time all you have to do is tap on the select button and now tap each particular item that you want to add in your selection so that you can also add that as a particular grouping as well. So you can see here, I'm now selected on all my walls. Once I'm done with that feature, I'm going to turn it off by tapping on the select button again. And now I'm going to tap on group to make sure that I can group that as one. Okay. You don't necessarily have to. Oh, sorry. We're done with the ribbon gesture, so you can go ahead and turn that off by tapping on the hand gestures at the very top. And in case you wanted to duplicate any of the particular items on your screen, you don't necessarily have to go back into your catalog or your gallery to drag it back into the space. All you have to do is make sure that you highlight the actual wall or item that you want to duplicate, and then tap on duplicate at the left in the action buttons, and that will now create a duplicate of the currently selected items that you have on your screen. If you need to remove any items, all you have to do is tap on remove to also remove those items. Okay? So we're nearly there. What we want to do now is we want to add some finishes to our scene. So we're going to go ahead and start with the chair. I'm going to double tap on that. And when I double tap on that, you can see what it does is it brings up the edit item menu. And in the edit item menu, what I can see is basically the chair, the list price of the chair, and the option finish structure that I can go through to help specify this chair. I also have the option to configuring prices, but I won't go that until the next webinar. So be sure to join next week for that webinar where we talk a little bit more in depth about pricing. But what I can do here is I can go through the actual option structure. So once I tap on upholstery finish, you can see on the right-hand side the select finish menu appear. The great thing about the kit's upholstery menu options is it allows you some refinement. Here you can see that I can select a different grade level I want to go through. This provides me all the actual swatches that are available from this particular manufacturer under each grade level. And then if I need to refine that, I can also filter it by color. So here I can say, you know what? I'm working with the client. The client wants to see some grade E fabrics. So I'm going to tap on that. And wants to see some grade F fabrics. We're going to go ahead and tap on that. But they only want to see the fabrics in gray and red. Okay? So what it actually does is it starts to refine the actual swatch structure below. It's now only indicating those swatches that are found in grade E and F that are gray and red. Okay? In case you need to remove a filter, all you have to do is tap on the filter you want to remove. Like, for instance, we want to remove grade E. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And you can see what that does is it indicates that there are no more options for grade for grade E. It's already taken away all those options. So now what I'm left with are grade F fabrics that are found only in gray, and these are all the different options that I have available to me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick one of them there, and I'm going to tap on next. And now I'm going to be in the next, which is the base type. I can choose black for plastic or polished aluminum. Let's go black. Tap on next. I can choose a hard caster or soft caster. I'm going to stick with the hard caster. Let's go next. And then I can check a fire rating if I want, depending on where I am. Here I can say there's a fire rating or not. I'll leave it as standard right now, and then tap on done. So that specification has now been completed. Okay. Now, as you can see, the swatches have been applied on scene. But what I can also do is, before I close this edit menu, I can place 2 fingers on this graphic, and I can actually rotate that chair. And the reason why it allows me to rotate that chair is so, for one, I can validate if this is the chair I want to use, and 2, I can also position it to present it to my client in a cut sheet. This cut sheet we call as a item quick sheet, which is found right down here. So we're going to go ahead and tap on that. And you can see what it does is it creates a PDF of the particular item that that I want to send out as a cut sheet. I also have some options here. I can show the client the model number, options and finishes, product details. I can show them pricing if there was any kind of discounting. I'll leave that off for now. And I can also add some notes. And if I want to add some notes, all I have to do is turn the switch on and tap in the big empty box below that to allow me to write a note. Okay. Once I'm done that, I can flick up and down on the PDF, and you can see this is the cut sheet that I can send out to my client, as well as the note that I wrote down that's just below. At the very bottom, you should see at the bottom left corner should be your credentials. In the middle should be the dealership or manufacturer you belong to, as well as the particular manufacturer that you're currently working on in kits. Okay. I can send that by tapping on send, or I can print it if I have an air printer that's connected to my iPad, or a PDF printer that's also connected to my iPad. But here, if you tap on send, you'll need to make sure that you're connected to some kind of Wi-Fi in order to send this quick sheet out. All I need to do is add a recipient. I can tap in the comments area in the middle of the actual body to add any kind of comment. And if I flick all the way to the bottom, I can see where that PDF attachment is. Yep. All right, so let's close all this. And since we don't have to add that chair to the scene because it's already in, we can continue on with the next spec. Now, I'm going to leave the rest of the office as is since it's already come in pre-finished. What I want to do is I want to add some specifications to the actual walls that I see in the space. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap on the back right corner here, and we're going to work with that first set of wall. Here I'm going to tap on the frame finish, which is currently selected as bronze, but I'm going to change that. But before I do, I want to go ahead and tap on replace all at the very top. Then I'm going to go ahead and choose my colors. So again, you guys are the actual designers today, so whatever project you're working on, go ahead and select the colors that you want. Here I'm going to go ahead and pick red. I'm going to tap on next. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish how I want to finish my glass. Again, I have some options here at the very top that I can go through. What I want to actually do is I just want to make sure I have some nice clear glass. We'll go with low iron and then tap on done. And you can see what Kits has automatically done is it's recognized any of the actual other walls that are in there that share the same finish structure. And so what it's done is it's went ahead and it's completed that spec that was for those particular options. So here you can see I've now covered all my items. All we have left now is just the door. So let's go ahead and double tap on that. And here you can see, again, I have that red frame finish. But now I can go ahead and choose my door finish. I have all these different options here. Let's go ahead and pick a nice funky red color to go with that, a reddish color. We'll go with the mahogany. And now you can see what that actually looks like. So there's a lot of things here that we covered. We showed you how to find the item. We showed you how to finish the actual item in your scene, as well as group the particular layouts. So now what I can do is I can move this anywhere on the floor grid that I like. I can now take this layout here, and I can bring it back into the space. The importance of why the bounding boxes that surround the model the models are red or green or blue is because the blue actual boxes allow the snap to function to work. Okay, so it's not the particular item that you're working with that snaps to the other item. It's actually the blue box from one item and the blue box from another item that are snapping together. Okay, so sometimes you'll have to turn off your snap to make sure that the items fit correctly. Now, when you're in a grouping, the reason why the items come in surrounded by red boxes or green boxes is, again, because the red boxes indicate that all those particular items are part of the grouping. The green boxes indicate that that is the lead item that you're using currently in the scene. So if I'm dragging this furniture layout here, it's dragging by the particular item that I'm tapped on, that's highlighted in green, as the lead item. So now any other item that I bring close to it, which allows the snap to function happen, allows me to use that snap to function. If I was selected on the work surface here, if I tried to drag it to the wall, you can see the snap to function isn't working. It'll work if I get closer to the wall with the work surface, but you know that's incorrect because now I've placed the actual furniture item through the actual glass. So you know that anytime you need to bring a group of items and connect it or snap or allow it to snap to another item, what you'll need to do is make sure that you select it on the proper lead object so that you can actually drag it close to the other item that it needs to snap to. Okay? And you can see that's nearly done. Just a bit of an adjustment. Let's drag that upwards. And we're now fit into the actual space. Okay? So we've now covered that. What I want to do is take a nice rendering of this particular layout. So I'm going to maximize the actual iPad frame by zooming and trying to fill the iPad frame as best as possible. Then I'm going to go ahead and tap on HD to render. And here you can see that you have 4 rendering options. You have good, better, best, and line drawing. What I always like to do is whenever you're client-facing, I always make sure that I use the first option, good quality fast, and that's because it'll allow me to render any HD image between 10 to 15 seconds. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap on good quality fast to allow that quick render to happen. So again, you can time this if you want, but it usually takes within 10 to 15 seconds. However, it is also reflected or reflective of the actual layout that you've created. So the larger the layout, the more complex the layout, the longer the actual rendering will take. So you can see here my image has finished. This is also a great way of validating whether or not you want to use that particular finish option. So here you can see that the low iron glass comes in with a kind of frost to it. I may not particularly want that. So I can export this and save it to my photo library. I can show my client because we're client-facing. Or, and what we can do is we can work together to find the right solution. Here I can double tap on one of the actual frames again. If I need to change an option, I can automatically tap on that. Let's just go stick with a clear one. So we're going to tap clear. I'm going to go tap on replace all, tap on done, just to make sure that I've now made a change to all the items. I can go into my list view by tapping on the list view on the right-hand side. This will give me a full list view of all the particular items that I have in my scene, as well as their specifications. And all I need to do is find any kind of glass panel. What I can do is I can also refine this by tapping on all catalogs and then going only through items that are found in particular catalogs. Let's say Acme walls. So now I'm only looking at items in Acme walls. What I want to make sure is that they have all been changed to a clear glass. That's changed to clear glass, and it seems that they've all been changed to a clear glass. So I can go back to my 3D view, tap on HD render, and let's go through that one more rendering again. You can do as many renderings as you want. So the great thing is what this will actually do is it'll allow you to do multiple iterations right on the spot. So you don't have to go back and forth to visiting your client with any issues. And it seems like this has also the same finish. So this is also important because this could be a rendering impact from kits, or it could be really the result of that particular finish. So this is telling me that there might be something that we have to look into in terms of the rendering of the glass for this particular option here. Okay. So once that's done, what I like to also do is I like to do a line drawing rendering of the actual layout, but in plan view. So here I'm going to go into my plan view. Now, for sake of the actual rendering, what I want to do is I'm going to double tap on select. It's going to select all my items in my scene. And now I'm going to use the rotate gesture. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to take advantage of the iPad frame. I know the grid is not going to appear in the line drawing, so this way I can do a nice big line drawing of the actual floor plan of the layout. And there it is. That only takes a second. Okay, so I have all these wonderful layouts that I can work with. Once I've done this, I can revert back to positioning it back in the floor grid. I don't have to rotate. All I have to do is use the undo button at the top left, top right. Once I tap on undo, you can see a redo button now appears. So in case I want to redo back that action. Okay. So anytime you create an undo, the redo button will appear. All right. So I've completed all that. Next step is let's share this project. So the first thing I want to do is I want to share the project with my client by creating a quick sheet. Here I can tap on Create Quick Sheet. It's going to ask me to prompt and save the actual project, so I'm going to say Save. And now we're given this quick sheet that has basically all the items or parts list that is in the configured layout, as well as the configured list price of the actual project. Also, the ending image of the last image it was saved on, so that's what you see here. So the first thing I want to do is, on the left-hand side, I want to change the project name. I'm going to go ahead and call this KISS Office. Next, I want to change the visual. I want to use one of those renderings that we had before to represent the layout that we've just created. Now, this will only allow you to add one image, but don't worry, because you can actually send this image and all the other images that you've created are saved to the project or also saved to your photo library as long as you've selected that option, so you can send your client multiple images. Now, next I can go through some pricing. So here you can see that it's automatically showing me list pricing. I can leave that on. I can also do a global discount. This will discount the entire project based on the actual configuration. So here, instead of going through every particular item and being a little bit more refined in the estimation, here I can give them a general idea of what the cost is going to be by tapping on discount and then indicating some kind of discount. So here I'm going to say 45% off. I tap on the keyboard to close, and you can now see what I now have is the list price, the discount that's been added, and now the subtraction of that, which is giving me a project estimation of about $9,122. Okay. I can also add a custom cell line item. That could be shipping and handling. Here I'm just going to tap S and H. I'm going to tap on the 0 below, and I'm going to add how much shipping and handling is going to be. We're going to say it's about $500. I can also add some notes. Here I'm just going to say, here is your estimation. And then I have also the option to allowing my client to see the item details, options and finishes, thumbnails, and discounting. This is the overall estimation that I've created that shows all the parts and items. If I want to protect my bid, I can simply turn that off. So what it's actually just showing them is a pre-configured price based on the actual discount of this particular layout. Or if I want to give them some options, I can certainly do so. Let's turn these back all on. So right now we're showing the client everything that we've done to get the pricing. Here what I can do is I can hide any kind of discounting that's been done on the item level. I can also hide any thumbnails. I can also hide the options and finishes that got me the pricing. So what I'm left with is basically just a list of all the items as well as the image and configured pricing of the actual project itself. I can print that to an air printer or a PDF printer that's connected to your iPad, or I can tap on send to send through email. Again, just like the item quick sheet, here I can send a project quick sheet. Okay. All right, so we're nearly done. We're just going to tap on projects to save. Okay, and we're now back into the project gallery screen. So you can see here we've now created a project. I may want to organize this based on any particular projects that I'm working on for this particular client. You can see here that the project gallery screen is organized by the most recent, and that's indicated by the date timestamp that is indicated below the actual project name that you can see. Okay. If I needed to change a project name, all I have to do is tap on the project name in the project gallery screen, so I don't need to go into the project itself to change that. All right. Now, if I wanted to create a folder for the particular client, I can certainly do so by tapping and holding the project that I want to move on top of another project. Once I do that, I'm going to let go, and you can see here that it now allows me to create a folder. Here's the folder name. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to call this Webinar Projects. Okay. One other thing that we also allow you to do is we allow you to copy and delete projects right from the actual iPad here. All you have to do is tap and hold the project that you want to copy. Once you tap and hold, you can let go. It will highlight and begin to do a little jig. Then you can go ahead and tap on the copy button, the top left, and you can see it now creates a copy as indicated in the project name, where it says the project name plus it says copy beside it. Okay. If you need to delete any project, again, similarly, all you have to do is tap and hold on the project, and this time tap on the trash can to delete. Okay. So this is for you to manage. You can manage your content any way you like. You can also organize your project any way you like. Just choose how you want to organize, if you want to see everything by the most recent, or if you want to organize all your items by name, you can tap on that, and that will reorganize your projects by name, alphanumerically. If you need to search for any projects, all you have to do is tap in the project name as it's phrased, and that will search. Here I put webinar. That now searches all the projects that have the actual webinar name in it. And as you can see, here's the actual webinar. Just make sure that, again, this is not a Google search, so you need to actually phrase your search exactly how the project is phrased itself. Okay? And that's pretty much it, everyone. You now know the basics, so start practicing those new skills, and you'll be closing those sales in no time. Okay? What we're going to do is on our next set of webinars this month, we'll show you a little bit more advanced features such as advanced search, pricing, and also including photo environments. You can register for those by visiting our Knowledge Center, and Julie will also drop the link in the chat box. On behalf of the KIDS team, thank you once more, and we hope to see you again next week right here on Webinar Wednesday, same time, same day. Everyone have a great day. Cheers.